Hey everyone, it is Dustin with TechMD. Today we're doing old school. I wanted to replace his frame and everything, but I apparently lost all those parts. So we're just doing a battery replacement. We're actually going to heat it up to 80 degrees Celsius, 60 at the very least, and just want to get it hot to the touch. One thing I did notice is his frame is so damaged, it's coming over on top of the screen. So just be aware if yours is doing that, you could break the screen. So I'm going to start in that area last. So we're going to carefully remove this screen off and then replace it with a new battery here. Just going to go back overview real quick since I did not show the initial opening of this. That was my bad. I was recording. Okay, this is the gist of it, guys. So you're going to use the iPlastix tool and iFlex tool. So you use the iFlex tool to initially get in. Be careful, there's an LCD here. You can also do it here. And once you get the actual tool in, then you should be able to slip the iPlastix tool in. And that's after warming it up for about 3 to 4 minutes. Then you use like alcohol to go around and help loosen up the glue, and then you just put a little bit of alcohol on your iPlastix tool and then just run it along the sides here. The goal is to get all across here and then get underneath the screen, back and forth, slide back and forth, and just carefully cut, and then just watch that cable underneath and go all the way to right about here. And then for the wiggle action I was trying to show is you just go back and forth by pulling this way and that way, and then slicing here. Okay, and you should be able to lift up, and then you test the screen and take out those 2 screws. All right, so next step is go ahead and remove the bracket here. And looks like we got T5, 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 T5. So all those are T5s. We're gonna organize them because they're probably different sizes. If they're not, that's fine. But either way, let's go ahead and start removing those, and I'm gonna go fast forward. Pop out the SIM. It's Ryan Reynolds company, Mint Mobile. They're actually pretty good, as I've heard. They're on the T-Mobile network, and they're also like starting at $15 a month. So fairly competitive. So we're gonna take our iseasmo tool here, and we're gonna enter in besides between these 2 frames here, if it'll let me. Let's try up front first. It's really packed in because that frame is bent. Man, let's try the other method. Push. Yeah, we're gonna just have to dig very hard and aggressive. Must be because of the bent frame. That's the only thing I can think of. Reason why it's giving me so much hell. Okay, I am going to bend that piece out because it's not coming loose. All right, let's bend out this metal here. Hopefully that is going to give us some access. Now, finally, All right, next is we're gonna go ahead and unplug the battery and disconnect this cable. Take some tweezers here. Don't slice the board with your tweezers. Just carefully pull this up and we can put it back once we're done. And take a plastic tool or whatever to disconnect that cable there. Okay, and just bend this slowly, carefully out of the way. Now this is pretty much permanently glued down. It is absolutely a nightmare to take out this battery. So we're gonna put lots of alcohol around it. Then you're gonna put it on the heater at maximum heat. Which in my case is like 248 degrees, 120 degrees Celsius. Just maximize it, wait until the batter gets hot to the touch, and then we can carefully remove it out. Okay, so while we wait for that to warm up, we can start cleaning our screen. We don't want to scratch it any further or on our table here, so make sure any previous glass or whatever you have is off. If you have a brand new screen, you don't really need to do this, but if your screen is used, then you're gonna definitely have to do this. So we're gonna go ahead and just take off the ear mesh so we don't get a bunch of glue in the ear mesh. Battery's starting to get a little warm finally. We're gonna go ahead and see if we can make any headway with the battery. Set this aside for a second. The frame should be hot, but the battery should be not that hot. Looks like. Be careful not to puncture this, or they will explode on you. Cool, battery's out, or coming out. We're gonna let that sit down and cool down for a minute over here. It's quite hot. And refocus on our glue here. How this guy has never broken his screen is beyond me, because the frame is so bent. It's broken in the back. It's looks like it's never had a case on the poor thing or a screen protector. So he's quite in luck that he has not been able to break this. But typically I'd recommend replacing your battery when you replace your screen. So we're going to turn down the heater. We're going to turn down the heater to 180 degrees, so it helps soften up this adhesive as well while we put the rest together. If you don't really care about having a good seal, you could just technically put a little glue on top and call it good. But most people care that their phone's not going to get a bunch of water or potential dirt inside as well, so it's good to seal it up properly, even if the phone is not water resistant or proof anymore on the rest of it. Don't get too aggressive here, because this glass is ultra thin. All right, just setting the heat over there. Put the alcohol on here. Let that set for a couple minutes and we'll come back to it. Okay, next part is battery. You can test the battery in a way, but we don't actually have a battery tester for this. So the best way to really test the battery on a phone like this is to use it. Let's look at our original battery. Where'd it go? Okay, so it is like that. There's enough adhesive still right there to easily plug in our new battery. I like to plug it in first to make sure we get the connection in the right spot. Always do that for every phone. And go ahead and disconnect it. Okay. And then carefully connect this connector that fell off back on. And we can connect our battery. At this point, you can put the screen on real quick and test it. I'm just going to go ahead and start assembling it, but I won't glue it down until I actually test the screen. Let's go ahead and just rub off some of the leftover adhesive. A lot of times this stuff will just rub off with an aggressive finger. You don't really need to use alcohol on this spot, looks like. The Pixel non-XL, if you have that, this will go very similar. There won't be much of a difference. And then if you need to replace the charge port, it's down here. It's extremely complicated. I think I have a video on it. And yeah, I'd rather never do that again. Best thing you can do is do some charge port maintenance. If your charge port is clogged full of dust or dirt, you can take some nice tweezers and dig it out. We're just clipping this around here. And we're going to take our screwdriver and our Torx 5 driver and get these screws back in.